Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of Modern Academy. In this episode I'll be talking a bit about ground and spikes. Ground and spikes is not the most crucial part of a level, but it's still very important to get it right. Let's start with the ground. Custom grounds are usually only used in cube and robot parts, and it's a great way to make your level look different. Here are some examples. Here's the beginning of Verve. There's a little bit of animation, but overall the ground is very simple. This next example is from Veto, and it's also very simple, but there's a few touches from the theme in the ground. This ground from Scent is nothing but a solid colored block and a line on top. The same goes for Crisp, but it's important to notice that the ground should stay simple because most of the attention should be on the blocks and on the background. The final example from Focus is also very simple, yet it's not empty. As a general rule of thumb, you should make your ground the same color. If your ground is the same color as the background, like here in Crisp and Scent, you should leave the ground almost empty or very simple. Whereas if the ground is a different color from the background, you should add a bit more detail. Spikes should be kept very simple as well. If you have something that looks empty, adding spikes is almost always a good idea. Spikes is a good way of decorating because they can be used almost anywhere and still look good. Here are some examples. In this first part of a fix, I kept the spikes on the ground to keep the blocks as simple as possible. Placing spikes on the ground is sometimes much better than using these objects, which I will call ground spikes. In the second part of a fix, the spikes is part of the block design, which I think looks really nice, and at the same time, and you can also see this in the third part, where the spikes and the blocks almost merge and become one thing. Here in Verve, the spikes don't exactly merge with the blocks, but they are almost like their own kind of blocks, which is also an option. This last example is from Vague, where the spikes are nothing but a subtle touch to make it look less empty. In my part, I choose to make spikes on the ground only using the ground spikes because I thought if I made spikes in the blocks, it would make it look a bit weird because I would ruin the diagonal lines I already made. So just to sum up, you should only use a custom ground in a cube and robot, and you should try to keep it simple. If your ground is the same color as the background, you should keep it very simple. However, if it's a different color, you should add a bit more of detail. You shouldn't make the ground move with the player either, just make it still. You should generally add more spikes to your levels and try to vary them in different sizes and colors. And you should also try to use spikes for decorations, part of the block or on the ground. So that's all for this episode. In the next episode I'll be talking about backgrounds, so that's definitely an episode to not miss. So that's all for now. Bye.